My name is Mike Jimenez, and this is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from San Antonio, Texas. Joe Garcia producing today's show, back in the saddle once again. Made my triumphant return last week on a Friday, doing it this Friday as well as we head into the Labor Day weekend. I'm super excited about this weekend because there's a lot going on. UTSA football gets going tomorrow. Can't wait. I was just talking to my nephews on the way over here, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get them excited about going because I don't have tickets. I had no plans, but some of my friends are going to make it out there. They're going to tailgate as well. I might need to make that drive down I-10 East to go to Houston. Check this out. I already got it planned out. By the way, we're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitter. We're live on Facebook. Come at us. Again, you could be part of the show by chiming in on YouTube. But here's the thing. If I get into Houston around 11 o'clock or so, I can go to Chinatown.
Oh, that's
have
nice.
an amazing lunch.
Yeah.
Something that you can't get in San Antonio.
Yeah.
I hate Houston. Like, the city of Houston itself is the armpit of Texas. I hate Houston.
I thought that was Austin, man.
No, Austin's fine. Austin's kind of like the quirky little cousin where it's like,
it's the hippie vibe.
It's the hippie vibe, but you know what? They got the pot. You know, they've got the pot. They know where the booze is at. They know where the clubs are at. They know where the girls are.
I like Austin.
Austin's fine.
Yeah.
Dallas is the bougie. You know, Dallas is the money bags of cities in Texas.
Oh, Jeff fit right in there.
Yeah. McAllen RGV keeps it puro.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of it, though, San Antonio's great. Houston, though, bite me. I can't stand the city of Houston. The traffic sucks. They're so pretentious, but they have Chinatown on Bel Air Drive. I go there about 2 or 3 times a year. My daughter, Gabby, the one at LSU, she's half Asian. We go over there and we have a blast. The food there is amazing. And you just turn on to Bel Air and all of a sudden everything is in a different language. And it's kind of like when you are in Miami and you go to Calle Ocho, where everything is Spanish and Venezuelan and Cuban and Colombian.
That Latin influence.
Yes. Speaking of which, since I'm also here and it's Frisky Friday, remind me, because this was not part of the rundown, remind me that when we get towards the end of the show, we're going to get frisky.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about the time I was at the Univision station.
Oh, Lord.
Good God.
Didn't want to leave?
No. No.
Can I work here?
Not at all. Not at all. Again, we have a big show today. The Spurs made a big announcement this morning. We're going to tell you how you can watch the Spurs, watch Wemby for free. Again, big news for UTSA. The AAC is expanding. How exciting is this for UTSA Roadrunner fans? If you have Spectrum Cable and you're a sports fan, you're pissed off right now. You are pissed off.
Yeah,
so we'll get into that. Entertainment news. Taylor Swift scaring the living crap out of the movie industry right now, so much so that a much anticipated horror movie has changed its opening night because of Taylor Swift. She's not only the goddess of music, but she's also taking over the big screen. How you can check out Taylor Swift, an Eras Tour movie coming out in just over a month. We'll get into that. And again, we'll get a little bit frisky on a Friday. Lots of people already coming in right now. Tim Gonzalez saying that Mike needs to tell the story.
Well, yeah, you need to tell us the story. Let's start off with that. And what they're talking about is
the joke.
You broke the internet again on Twitter, you know, because you were saying, man, I'm 11 pounds from being effing cute.
Okay, so there's two things.
There's two things. And the other part of it is the conversation that you and Chris Leja had at the Mad Pecker, bro.
Okay,
that joke has not died down.
Okay, so and it's funny because you guys have been going on and on and on about that joke the past few days, and it's been going on Twitter as well.
And I put, Mike is the one friend that has no filter and just likes to blurt stuff out. And I said, and all you could do is laugh. And it's funny to me.
You either love me or hate me. But
I love it, man.
I got to tell you the whole background of the story because you guys have sucked ass when it comes to describing what happened.
I'm just hearing it third hand from Chris.
Okay, so we're at Mad Pecker Brewery, which is where we had the Fantasy Gods fantasy draft on Sunday.
Yeah.
And we're just having a pleasant conversation about something. And, you know, you want to know from people who know things, right? Like if people want to know about finance, they come to me because you can pick my brain because I know things, right?
Yeah.
Chris Leja, one of our sponsors, MCS, you know, the hard concrete, that hard deck concrete over there.
Yeah, hardest concrete in the business.
Diamond hard, baby. So I'm telling him about a problem that I have with my porch. My porch is all jacked up a little bit because the film that's on top broke off a couple of years ago, and I've never fixed it. So I sent him photos. And we're going back and forth about it.
Yeah, I heard him. He was trying to give you advice on how to fix it.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, you know, it's DIY. You can do it yourself. I'm like, I'm not going to do it myself. I don't know how to do any of that crap. I know how to mow a yard. I know how to edge a yard. I know how to paint a little bit. I know how to work on a fence. But concrete? No. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, I have zero experience with that as well.
So we're going back and forth, me and Chris Leja. And he's asking me, how did it get so ugly? How did it get so bad? And I told him that it started when it snowed a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
True story, because what ended up happening was it got so cold and it snowed so much that that layer that they have on top of my porch broke off.
I guess it was like an epoxy or something.
It was it was something. It cracked.
Yeah.
And it just flaked off over time. And it was so funny because I was going back to like how this all happened. And I was telling them the story, which, by the way, is a true story. It snowed. You know, that's when the grid went down and everybody was without electricity except for me. You know, I'm in my house, you know, steam cleaning carpets because I have electricity and I'm doing what I do. I'm cooking. Everyone had no electricity.
Over here, steam cleaning carpets.
I'm steam cleaning carpets. You know,
I'd be like, big F you to that guy.
I'm having a great old time. I'm using the oven. You know,
turn all the lights on, kids. Every fucking light.
I have the heater on. It was great. I had family members and friends who would come over freezing. And I'm like, go ahead and stay here. We have the electricity.
You kept the dogs inside, I hope.
2 of them. And we left one outside. Actually, one of them did enjoy the snow. So I'm talking to Chris Leja about this whole thing. And I was saying that I was watching Ken's and KSAT, and they wanted to know where in Bexar County, what neighborhoods had the most amount of snow. Because whenever you hear that it rained half an inch or it snowed 3 inches, that's at the airport.
Yeah.
That is at the airport. It's not the same everywhere, right?
No.
So they were going back and forth to all these different neighborhoods, and they said over here in West Bexar County, and they started zooming in. And I'm telling them the story. They're zooming in, and they're like, Weston Oaks, West Creek, far West Bexar County, Petranco Road near Tally had the most amount of snow. And at this point, the wheels are turning in my head that I got to tell a joke about this, right?
Yeah.
I'm telling them the story. And they zoomed in and they said, this neighborhood actually had 7 inches of snow. So I'm telling them the story. And at this point, on the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I got to make a joke out of this.
Yeah.
I got to make a joke out of this. So I'm telling Chris, I was like, yeah, man. I was like, I didn't believe it. So I had to go measure it myself. So I went out into the front yard and I laid down face first. And you know what? It was 7 inches. And then I kind of just ended the conversation. I just moved off to the side and he didn't say anything for like 15, 20 seconds. And then he busted out laughing because he knew what I was going with. And he goes, did you use your pecker? Again, we were at Mad Pecker Brewery.
Yeah.
Did you use your pecker to measure the snow? And I insinuated yes, right?
Yeah.
But it was all a joke. But I was deadpan the way I phrased it. It was the greatest telling of a story / joke. And you were sitting right next to me, but you didn't hear any of that.
I didn't hear any
and
of it.
Leha lost his shit and just started laughing. It was like, I cannot believe you said that. That was so funny. That was so funny, man. Lots of people reaching out right now. Chris Leha coming out to us on YouTube saying he knows how to measure the snow. Others are saying Mike Baez of Bear County Social Apparel, only 2 inches that day. Maybe on your side of town, maybe with your gauge, but not with mine. But no, this was fun. It was fun. But we have lots going on today. People making fun of that joke. People making fun about me having Operation Effing Cute on Twitter.
11 pounds from being effing cute.
Dude, look at this shirt, man. I was showing you this before.
Yeah.
This shirt was snug about a month ago. It was snug. And now I've gone from, I wear this because it's a nice shirt from Golf Club of Texas. I like the shirt. But if I lose 10 more pounds, I won't be able to wear it. It'll look like a
swimming in it.
Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of working out. And the working out, don't get me wrong, about twice a week, I'm doing hot works, which is in the sauna.
Yeah,
but
rowing in the
sauna, bike riding in the sauna. But I've been doing a lot of walking between 3 and 5 miles, 6 days a week, and basically doing about 20 miles a week when it comes to it all.
Yeah.
And this is all nervous energy for me because, as I mentioned last time I was here, going through a marital separation. I'm still hopeful. I'm still wearing my wedding ring. I'm still hopeful that things will turn around. Right now, I don't know. Now, I don't know. But I get nervous energy. I get moments where I'm happy, moments where I'm sad, moments where I'm frustrated. And all I do is I just get my shoes on and I go walking, baby. But as I'm walking, I realize I'm thinning out a little bit.
Yeah, look at
gone from 2 tires to 1 tire is what Mario Cavasso says. That's it, baby. I don't have the 40-inch the white walls on there anymore, dude. It's turning into a bike tire. Does switching from Hanover Fists, does switching from beer to liquor count as a diet? I haven't had alcohol in 4 weeks. Damn. If I go to Houston tomorrow to go to the UTSA tailgate over there, I will have alcohol. Okay, I'm not saying that I've given up alcohol, but I will tomorrow. If I go to the game tomorrow,
tailgate.
And right now, I'm feeling more and more up for it. But this is all part of just the transformation, because whenever life hits you in the gut, one of 2 things happens. You either crumble and you self-sabotage yourself, or you try to make yourself healthier.
Yeah.
And this time I'm trying to make myself healthier. I'm hoping that my wife sees that. Whether she wants to still work things out, I don't know. That's not up to me. But at the end of the day, I have a lot of nervous energy and I got to do something.
Yeah.
And as opposed to being upset, going to therapy, I am walking, I am lifting weights, I'm doing things. And you know what?
It's working.
This shirt, getting a little bit loose. Fred Villarreal reaches out on YouTube. Guess you made the switch from flour to corn tortillas, but all perfectly round. So I like, obviously, flour tortillas. Eating better doesn't mean eating perfect.
Yeah.
It's just staying within a certain calorie count in a day. There was a study that I saw this one guy do where he ate 10 candy bars a day for a month. And that was all he ate. Snickers, right? He lost a ton of weight because eat Snickers is 240 calories. So he was eating 2,000, 2,400 calories when he normally would eat 4,000 or 5,000. and he lost weight because that was just the calorie content. So I'm not going to ever profess to be some sort of health expert or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I do know that I'm burning more than I'm eating. And if I want nachos, I'll go get nachos. Whatever. But going from flour to corn, it's little things like that add up. Eating eggs in the morning. See, it's not so much the protein that gets you. It's all the sides. It's the papas. It's the rice. And
well, my
all that stuff.
nutritionist said if you can have 2 eggs every day for breakfast, which is healthy, you can even put salsa on it. Just don't eat it with bread. Yeah, just don't eat it with bread or tortilla.
Get some avocado. HEB has some excellent low carb tortillas.
Yeah, I've seen those and I've had them. They're pretty good.
They're pretty good. I mean, it's not the same, but it's like 80% the same.
It's palatable.
It's very, very good. Hey, let's get into it. Thank you for all the comments. Again, we're going to go for about an hour and 15 minutes or so today. I'm excited. I'm antsy because I just got off the hills over here in West Bexar County, 3.25 miles today. I'm trying to catch up to my good buddy Rudy J over at San Antonio Sports Star, but we have to talk about Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 because Jeff Garcia, rumor has it, is moving back to San Antonio. It's going to happen. I know we've been saying this for the longest time that it hasn't happened or when is it going to happen, but the Spurs season is about to start. That means Jeff Garcia, Ken's 5, lead sports writer for the San Antonio Spurs, needs to come back home and do his gig over here.
He's not going to announce it. We pretty much know when he's coming back.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We do. But Moneybags are there with the stacks of cash, with the steak that he gets from Uber Eats, with his goblet, with his chain and his top hat right there. His diamond ring. Yeah. His diamond ring right there. Jeff Garcia, though, fantastic. Follow him on YouTube because Locked On Spurs is also on YouTube. I follow on Spotify and on YouTube because as the season starts, it's going to be daily content when it comes to your silver and black, the San Antonio Spurs. And you can follow him at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter. You can also follow him on Threads as well. But the thing about it is that he mentioned today on Twitter, a story on Kens5.com, that the Spurs have announced the details of the black and silver game. Or is it silver and black game?
The coveted silver and black
Silver
scrimmage.
And black game. I knew I had that wrong. Silver and black game, which is going to take place Saturday, October 7th at 7 p.m. at the new Frostbank Center.
Go frost yourself.
Go frost yourself. Again, the thing about it is this. There are rules this year when it comes to it. In years past, it was like Black Friday.
Free, open to the public.
They open the door like it's Best Buy and people just storm in and take a seat, right? Not going to happen this year because the demand is so high. Victor Wembanyama in town. People are going to want to see Wemby, even if it's a practice against Zach Collins or a practice against somebody on the team.
I know damn well I'm getting into that game. I'm a Spurs season ticket holder. Y'all
you
better have
go.
my tickets.
You better ask somebody.
Yeah.
But $2 beers, $1 sodas, a 15% discount inside the Spurs fan shop, according to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. But again, you can't just show up. You need a ticket, okay? This is like the Eras Tour for Taylor Swift. You need a ticket before you get in. So you have to go to spurs.com/open scrimmage and take part in the lottery.
You can also get your tickets through the Spurs app because that's what I did. As soon as you open up the Spurs app, like I did this morning,
right?
They have a link on there and you click on it and it says you've been entered to win 4 tickets, and they'll let you know in September.
Yeah, so September 14th. September 13th is the deadline.
Yeah.
September 14th is when you find out if you win. You've got 72 hours to claim your tickets or you are kicked out of the line and somebody else gets those tickets.
So go early. If you need to, go ahead and try to claim your tickets now, go and get in the drawing. I'm more than sure that they're going to have plenty of tickets to mostly go around for everybody who wants to go.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Past, this is how it worked. They would open the gates around, I think, 4 or 5 o'clock, and they had people lined up there all day waiting to come in. And when they would finally open the arena and everybody would sit down, there were a lot of empty seats, right? Like half the arena was not even full on the upper decks, So I think that's going to change this year because everybody wants to see Wemby, of course.
Right.
But they're also going to have like little incentives where they're going to have exclusive merchandise just for that game for you attending, and they're going to have trivia, they're going to have some giveaways, that kind of stuff, make it fun for the fans. which I think is a good look on the San Antonio Spurs part, because you want to open it up to the fan base. You want to open it up to the raza. We're the ones that buy the gear, you know?
Now, the thing about it is this, though, is that the demand is so high.
Oh, I get that.
Because of Wemby.
Yeah.
And you almost could make the argument that they could have had this at the Alamo Dome. That the demand would have been so high. I hated going to that game in January against Golden State. Watching the game at the Dome was awful.
No, but it was a good experience for me. I loved it.
I mean, you ran into people like it was a high school reunion, but it was from watching the game was bad. But going back to the Frost Bank Center, it is a thing. We have 17,000 people that are going to be there, and I like what you're saying right there about how you have La Raza going there. You know, you get people from,
you're not pricing them out.
Essentially, the South and the West side.
Yeah,
you can't be priced out when it's free.
Yeah.
The $2 beers, the $1 soda. It's a big deal, man.
It's
because
a good family night.
It's a family night,
Yeah.
you know, and you can't just show up with 12 cousins. Okay, you have to win that lottery to make that happen.
My tío, my cousins, my uncle.
September 13th, the deadline. Spurs.com/open scrimmage. Again, it's a lottery system. 72 hours to claim your tickets if you are picked as a winner on September 14th.
Are you gonna go?
I would love to go. I would love to go because right now, you know, I'm looking for reasons to get out of the house. And that's one of the things about the changes in my life over the last 3 months or so is that I was always on the go. I was out and about.
Yeah.
But, you know, doing the podcast here on the days that I do, running my financial practice from home. I do have an office, but my financial practice is at home. It gives me a reason to get out, which is why I want to go to the UTSA Houston game tomorrow. I really want to go. Really
look at this.
Want to go.
Tim Gonzalez, Mike Jimenez rumors going around that money bags will be at Don Pedro.
He said Southwest Military Drive.
Yeah, he said that he's not going to announce the date that he's coming back, but there will be signs. I'm like, you going to invite us to Don Pedro's?
You know, it's funny about Don Pedro's is that it's a very polarizing restaurant. Like there are some people who swear by Don Pedro's, and there's some who have said that they don't like the place. Don Pedro's back in the day was a smaller restaurant.
It was a San Antonio staple, man.
It was, but then they had that expansion. It must have been about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you go into the restaurant and half of it's brand new and half of it is still old.
Yeah.
And you go over there. The food is fine. The breakfast is very good. I mean, I'll give it a B. I don't think it's a bad restaurant.
No, it's not bad.
But, you know, you look at some of the restaurants on Marbach Road, on Culebra with Lupitas and stuff like that. I'd rather go there.
And you know what? Low key, man, Bud Jones is like right across the street. Their Mexican plate is not bad, dude.
It's been so long since I've been to Bud Jones.
Bud Jones is not bad.
And if you go behind Bud Jones and behind the Don Pedro's, about a block or two down, kind of like if you're headed towards a little bit towards Harlandale Stadium.
Yeah.
There's some barbecue joints out there.
Oh, yeah, man.
That are hole in the walls that are just amazing. Just follow the smoke. Just
you can smell it.
Just point your nose up in the air and just start sniffing around. It is fantastic, man. Fantastic.
Hey, man, we went ahead and gave Jeff some love for Locked On Spurs. Why don't we go get one of our other sponsors some love? Why don't we go ahead and talk about MCS?
Oh, let's talk about MCS contracting because Chris Leha, he and his brothers are doing that. They talk about those big hard decks that they have over there, but no, MCS is fantastic. And the thing about them is this: think about what they do for a living and how hard they work. I was complaining the other day about the fact that I was out in the sun for an hour doing a workout, and he was like, try being in long sleeves all day long in 105-degree weather working on a swimming pool. But MCS General Contracting, I mean, they are the people to turn to if you have concrete needs. If you are building a building, you know, whether it be a home or a business and you need a slab done, MCS General Contracting can hook you up when it comes to that. Sidewalks, pavements, parking lots, ramps, they can do that as well. And then again, they work with swimming pool companies as well to build those swimming pools. But one of the great things I like about them, and in talking to the Lehas about this, is the fact that they say it's not about doing it on the cheap. It is doing it right. Do you want us to come back and fix this in 10 years or in 20 or 30 years? Because that's the thing. You can get things done cheap, but you're going to have to constantly repair and renovate what gets done because you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
You get what you pay for. But MCS General Contracting, you can reach out to them at 210-774-9155, 210-774-9155. They do an amazing job, and they are out in the sun getting the job done, son. MCS General Contracting, 210-774-9155. Again, slabs, parking lots,
hard
decks, those concrete decks. You want to do those expansions. These are the people to turn to. MCS General Contracting, sponsor of the show from the very get-go, 210-774-9155. I was talking about how I'm excited about UTSA starting its season tomorrow against the Houston Cougars. I'm a little bit conflicted because the Houston Cougars are going to be trotting out there onto the field wearing a jersey.
And you're ready for this.
Oh my God, show it. Wearing a jersey in baby blue.
There you go, baby.
Baby blue Houston Oilers colors. This hurts me a little bit because I grew up the biggest Houston Oilers fans that you know of, that anybody knows of. I bled baby blue and silver and black. I was a Spurs guy. I was an Oilers guy. Now, right now, I'm a Saints guy. Okay? So for about a 5 or 6 year period, I had no team. My fantasy football team was my team. So the Oilers and those colors mean so much to me. I love the Houston Oilers. I still do. I act like they're still around, but they died, right? They moved over to Nashville, Tennessee, and all that stuff. But the colors belong to the city of Houston. And it's going to be painful cheering for the orange and blue of UTSA going against colors that I grew up loving, but I'm going for UTSA. UTSA, by the way, tomorrow, a 2-point favorite against Houston. They lost to Houston at the Alamo Dome last year in triple overtime. It's known because of the fact that the crowd didn't realize that the game was over because the way that the triple overtime rules work. And it's also notorious because that was also the day that I walked out of the Alamo Dome doing people claim that I was drunk, but I was hungover. Two different things. My rant against UTSA's head coach. And the thing about it is this, UTSA's head coach, Jeff Traylor, echoed everything that I was saying in that video. UTSA lost the first game against Houston last year because Jeff Traylor decided to play not to lose as opposed to playing to win. UTSA went into the fourth quarter with the lead. They blew that game because suddenly they started playing conservatively, and then it went to triple overtime, and they lost. Houston did not win that game. UTSA lost that game. And Jeff Traylor is an amazing coach, an amazing recruiter, and I love that he's here, and he is one of the best coaches in the country. For me to call out the fact that he laid an egg, that he wet the bed, doesn't make me less of a UTSA fan. It makes me stating the obvious, but nobody wanted to hear that shit. Everyone was like, how dare you say that about Jeff Traylor? And you said it while you were drunk. Again, I was hungover. I hadn't drank in 4 hours. Okay. I got drunk at the tailgate, but I hadn't done that, So that's
the guy that throws up and then comes back powered up.
Puke and rally, baby. Puke and rally.
I'm ready.
That was RIP to that guy from Varsity Blues. What was his name?
Which one? The big guy?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot his name, man.
Billy Bob.
Oh, yeah, Billy Bob.
Billy
the one
Bob.
with the cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was also in another teen movie.
Man, the dude lost a lot of weight, bro.
Rudy Gonzalez reached out saying, you were effed up. Again, I was drunk earlier in the day, not now.
He drunk himself sober, man.
Jonathan C. reaches out and says, Traylor would have been the first to admit that he blew that game. And he did. He did. Chris Gonzalez, the lead UTSA was dominant that game until the fourth quarter. That's the thing. And that's why UTSA is favored by 2 points in tomorrow's game, in the season opener. UTSA is the better team. And Frank Harris coming back. By the way, Mudslingers with a brand new drink for Frank Harris. So props to them for making that happen. But Traylor needs to, and he did so much better as the season went on. Jeff Traylor is human, dude. You know, he, as great of a coach as he is, he's going to have moments where he makes the wrong call.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes what I hate about sports is that sometimes when you're supposed to put your foot on the back of the neck of your opponent and you let it go, you let them off, you let them come back, you give them hope. And Houston came back to win that game. That was Traylor's fault, and he admitted it. So it gave me even more confidence in Jeff Traylor because he did come out and say, yeah, that was on me. But speaking of UTSA, big news, the breaking news this morning, the AAC, the new conference that UTSA is entering this month, has 3 new members starting next year. Talking about Stanford, Cal, or California, however you want to call them. And welcome SMU, the Mustang, the Ponies, baby, Pony Express, going to the AAC. Yeah. So now I'm thinking about it. Look at this. People were saying that, you know, it's all this alignment that went on, right? We saw the demise, the death of the Pac-12. And you take a look at the AAC, and people were giving me crap about it because I was saying that the AAC is just as good as the Big 12. And people give me crap about that. I mean, just last week when I was doing the show, people were giving me shit about that. And now I say, no. We get Stanford, we get Cal, we get SMU. This is a very, very legit conference. So who did the AAC lose in the past year? They lost Houston, the Cougars. They lost the Cincinnati Bearcats, and they lost UCF. But who did they gain? UTSA, UAB, Rice, North Texas, Florida Atlantic, Charlotte, and now Stanford, Cal, and SMU. Let's talk about this when it comes to market size. They lost Houston, but they got Rice. Both in the Houston market. Houston Cougars probably with a bigger fan base, but at least they got Rice. So the Houston market's still there. But look at what the AAC is doing now, going into the Dallas market, getting SMU and North Texas, which is out in Denton, just outside of Fort Worth. Beyond that, you now add the San Antonio market, and then now you're going off to California and getting Silicon Valley, you know, getting Cal and getting Stanford, the Stanford Cardinal. You adding the Stanford Cardinal with Cal and the academics of that league to what we've got going on. Now we can have this rivalry. Imagine a rivalry that is Stanford against UTSA. Not just in football, but in baseball, but in basketball. This is a big deal for UTSA. UTSA getting out of Conference USA into the AAC is a big deal. And you cannot tell me that the Big 12 is head and shoulders above the AAC. You can't tell me that when the most exciting team there is going to be what? Texas Tech?
Guns up?
Colorado? I mean, come on, man. Texas and OU are leaving. And you see the commissioner of the Big 12 talking shit about UT, saying that Texas Tech better go in and beat them again for their, you know, as a send-off, right? And a lot of people going, oh, Sarkisian coming out and saying, oh, well, that was just bad taste. You know, we talk about sportsmanship and all that stuff. But screw you, UT. You're leaving for the SEC. You ditched the Big 12. You're the reason why A&M left. You're the reason why the Southwest Conference doesn't exist.
Oh, we got a shout out here. JC saying, yo, shout out to Sweep the League. New episode just dropped. Always a good time with the crew. Yeah, go ahead and make sure you go and follow Sweep the League over on Twitter, man. And and take a listen to their podcast. You know, my boy Rudy Campos Jr. and everybody else, you know, Rocky Garza Jr. and Candace Garcia, Derek Gervin, and Stats MC. We call him Mark MC. They always do a good job. So make sure you go and listen to their podcast.
Now, Rudy does a fantastic job. I need to do a show with him in the next few weeks or so.
Rudy's fun, man. He's a good guy, man.
And Charlie Hernandez reaches out to us on YouTube and says it's the ACC that got those teams. No, it's the AAC that got those teams because the ACC fumbled the bag. They fumbled the bag. And now you're making me scared. You're making me scared. I'm going to go to ESPN.com right now because according to what I was reading this morning. Now you got me
Chris
worried.
Gonzalez, I think he's still hungover from
Oh,
the UTSA
son of a
game.
bitch.
SMU is already in the AAC. They are going to the ACC. You're still hungover.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so first of all, I read an article earlier this morning saying the AAC had already extended that invite, and the ACC had needed to have either Florida State, they needed to have either Florida State, or they needed to have Clemson, NC State, and there was another team that needed to roll over and authorize this because they needed to have 80% of their people to do it, right? And they had 4 holdouts. They needed 1 to roll over. They were going to go after NC State. So as of this morning, when I was working on this rundown, the AAC was in the mix. The AAC had offered that had made that offer. So, okay. So now, as Rudy says, Alamo Community Colleges can now enter the AAC. I like that. We'll have Palo Alto out there. Fred Villarreal, you're not drunk, you're hungover. As an Aggie, I'm watching. Okay. But the thing about it is this. I'm excited for tomorrow's game. Okay. I fumbled the bag over here because I hadn't refreshed my screen in 2 hours. Okay. I worked on my rundown at 9 a.m. when this hadn't happened. And this is time-stamped here earlier in the day before I had done it. So my bad. I knew the ACC was still in the mix. But again, they needed to have one of their guys because Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, and NC State were the ones that were balking at those schools joining. 12-3 on Friday. They made the flip. NC State was the one that flipped.
Yeah, one of the other things that we need to start talking about too, we need to kind of transition is we need to go and talk about what Spectrum did to their customers yesterday.
Yeah, so Spectrum.
Talk about poor taste, man.
Well, I mean, this happens all the time, dude.
Yeah, it does, man. But the timing is the thing that sucked because Spectrum could at least, you could have warned a brother, man. You give him a heads up and tell him, hey, this is what's going to happen. Maybe you all should look for somewhere else to watch your games, you know? But Spectrum shit the bed, and they just didn't close a deal with Disney, which owns ESPN.
Yeah.
You know, and basically that was the last shoe to drop, you know, for a lot of Spectrum customers because they're left holding the bag. They're like, all right, man, I'm going to be able to watch college basketball today. What the F is happening?
They wanted to watch the Florida game yesterday.
They were like, what the fuck, dude? Like all of a sudden, right before game time, bam, goes off the air.
Well, ESPN doesn't play, man. I mean, you have to understand that ESPN is in a very weird situation right now because ESPN is growing up in the 90s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, right? It was all about ESPN.
It was all about cable.
It was all about cable. It was all about SportsCenter. Dude, yesterday I went to Walmart, right? And I go through, I get in my cart, and as I'm walking through the aisles, you see that table off to the side, and it's Spectrum. You know, they're trying to get people to enroll into Spectrum. And I'm trying to avoid them. But they had this really attractive woman who was coming up going, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And I went up to her and I said, look, I'm not interested in cable. Like, I'm not going to go back to cable. I'm going to go off and just do what I do. I cut the cord a long time ago.
Yeah, me too.
And people will say, well, the cord still exists. What does that mean? It just basically means to go away from actual cable.
Yeah.
And, you know, Stephen A. Smith the other day was talking on his radio show. And he made mention to the fact that times are changing. You see all the layoffs that are going on over there at ESPN. They got rid of a lot of big names, Wendy Nix being one of them this week. And you see what's going on over there. And the fact of the matter is that the way that they tabulate how people are watching is different. Because it used to be everyone watched according to a cable, whether it be Time Warner, whether it be Spectrum or whatever they're calling themselves these days, Comcast or whatever the case may be. But as Stephen A. Smith pointed out, people are now watching on tablets. They're watching on an app. They need to get their money. And the ESPNs, Disney's of the world don't know how to quantify that so much and are being stingy when it comes to cable. And the thing about cable is this. If you get a breakdown of your cable bill, if you actually have cable, you will notice that you are paying for channels that you do not watch. I remember when I have cable, right now I have YouTube TV. I know that when I'm on there, I only watch like 6 channels, man. I watch ABC, NBC, CBS, right? Because I watch Ghosts on CBS. I watch Station 19 on ABC. I will watch, sports on KBB. I'll watch sports on KSAT. I'll watch sports on WOAI.
CBS,
CBS for golf and whatnot.
Yeah.
College football, things like that. I watch ESPN, watch the Weather Channel, CNN, and that is about it.
Yeah.
So if I was to get cable, I would be paying for channels like Hallmark that I never watch.
Yeah, I don't watch.
I'd be paying for MSNBC, which I never watch.
Fox.
I'd be watching Fox News Channel, which I never watch.
Yeah.
And people want to buy things a la carte. They want to buy things a la carte. So if you have a cable subscription, the problem isn't the fact that ESPN is and Disney is dropping the hammer on these cable companies, saying, no, this is what it costs to, like, we are a big reason why you guys exist.
Yeah.
My question for you is, why do you have cable?
Don't need it.
You don't need it. Everything's going to subscriptions. So we saw this also with the Spurs, with that Sinclair.
Oh yeah, the Bally Sports.
The Bally Sports, which is god awful.
It's garbage.
It's trash. I'm
garbage.
so excited that the Spurs have more games on a national level because of Victor Wembanyama. 19. Yeah. Fuck Spectrum, dude. That is the shadiest. And then Sinclair, by the way, is a shady company to begin with. And they own 2 local stations.
We talked about that earlier in the week, and I had let everybody know, basically, the NBA is keeping a close eye on Bally Sports. Bally Sports and its regional sports network, because they've already filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and it appears that they were about to default on the payment that they need to go ahead and give the NBA to continue to show these games, because they've defaulted, they've fallen behind, they need to catch up, and they have an agreement already in place, and the NBA is not playing games either.
Yeah.
So if they're not able to go ahead and make that payment that's going to be due pretty soon, the NBA is actually looking at other avenues to go ahead and have these games televised, and it could go ahead and say, hey, let's open it up and let's see what the betting wars start at. NBC, want to throw their hats in the game.
Well, we're seeing that now with Peacock. We're seeing that with Hulu getting into sports. I mean, I go on to Hulu.
Even Apple's getting into it.
I go on to Hulu and I'm watching San Antonio FC games.
Yeah.
Because they're on there. Lots of people reaching out to us right now saying that YouTube TV is pretty good. I like YouTube TV. My friend George was the first to introduce that to me. He lives in Houston. I went to go visit him one day because I don't know what I was doing in Houston. I ended up spending the night over there with him and his wife at their house, and they were showing me the YouTube TV, and I was like, that's pretty cool. And then I decided to cut the cord, and I gave YouTube TV a chance, and it's amazing. But the thing about it, though, is this: when there's bad weather, DirecTV, YouTube TV, that's where you have cable that works.
Yeah,
because it's literally plugged into the wall, and unless the lights go out, you still have something to watch. I mean, it starts raining bad outside, or you get a poor Wi-Fi reception, you might have some issues with YouTube. If you have a Samsung TV, there is something called Samsung TV.
Yeah,
and it's a cable channel that they have that's built into their TV that you get for free by just owning the Samsung. Dude, I'm impressed with that. There's probably about 100 channels, and a few of them are like regular channels, like a CNN or a Fox Business. But what's interesting about it, though, is that they'll have like a channel dedicated to a particular TV show.
Oh, yeah.
Like there is Forensic Files TV, and it's like for 24 hours straight they play Forensic Files. There's a Dateline one. There's the making the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders one. They have some dedicated to, Flip This House, Family Feud, and all of that stuff. It's so cool, man. I love going on there all the time. Jonathan Seabridge is out and says illegal streaming is where it's at. 4K streams, so I've been told.
If you know, you know.
Yeah. That's where you need to have a friend who knows something, man.
Yeah, I don't have a VPN on my network here for nothing.
Dude. Let's give some love to Serenity Manor, an events venue over at Old Bandera Road. We like to say kitty corner.
Kitty corner. Oh my God,
To
your cousin.
Floor's Country Store. My cousin Lorenzo says kitty corner. They do weddings there, with receptions, bridal showers, baby showers, quinceañeras, corporate events. You know, if you have a Christmas party that needs to be done, company Christmas party, family reunion, head on over to Serenity Manor over at 14406 Old Bandera Road.
Not only that, but the weather is getting nicer, so you're going to want to have outdoor events now.
Exactly. It's 14405 rather, Old Bandera Road. We're showing some photos right now on our stream here. The outdoors is beautiful because the thing is that when you get out there to Helotes, the old Helotes, this is kind of like, you know, probably about 3 or 4 miles outside of 1604. The hill country really starts to take hold.
Yeah, take shape.
Yep, and it's beautiful out there. It's a historic building over 100 years old. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 is calling right now. If you want to keep going with that, because he should know that I'm on the air right now. Is there some breaking news?
I'll go ahead and get it, man.
It's a good place to be. It's just a place to have fun, have some vibes. And again, after the concerts, make your way over. I was talking to Jeff Garcia on the other side. I had to move the microphone over. And I was thinking to myself, he knows that I'm doing the show on Fridays, right? Why is he calling right now? Is there a breaking news? Did the Spurs make a trade? And he goes, hey, you didn't call me back.
Oh, my God.
Mate, was the breaking news that he's back here on back in San Antonio? That would be breaking news. That would be breaking news.
What they were saying was, I know I had Mike muted real quick.
You did?
And I went ahead and caught it, so I brought the volume back up for you.
Very, very nice. I'm a little bit embarrassed, man. I took some news from 3 hours ago, taking it as gospel, and then I effed it up because I didn't hit the refresh button before starting the show. My bad. I'm a little bit embarrassed. It happens from time to time, but I was amped up. Still excited about UTSA football tomorrow, though. I invited a couple of my nephews, and I'll probably ask my other nephews as well. I gotta make my way out there, dude. I just need to get out of town just to go have a little bit of fun, just get away from the city, get away from private things going on in my life right now. But Chris Gonzalez reaches out and says, damn, Joe went all spectrum on us with the mute button.
With the mute button.
Let's talk about some pop culture.
Oh, God. We're going to go ahead and talk about some Taylor Swift now.
Dude.
You know what we haven't done in a long time since we're going to do this?
Yeah.
I didn't make this little intro for nothing, man. So we got to play it.
Let's do it.
Let me go ahead and move myself off the stream. And here we go.
In entertainment news. Because I'm here, we got to talk about Taylor Swift.
That we do.
I'm a Taylor Swift fan. Dude, you know that the Eras Tour is just killing it, right? She's going to become a billionaire probably by the end of the year. We've heard the stories about how she gave all of her workers a $100,000 to $200,000 bonus. She surprised them all. She's in Mexico City. All these Mexican fans out there just loving her over there. They're singing Selena songs. She's not singing it, but her opening act, her new opening act over there is singing Selena songs out there. And they're just chanting Taylor's name all of that stuff. The merch outside the stadium, the illegal merch is everyone's just saying that it's so epic and it's such a big party over there. I go on TikTok, I see it. It's great. It's beautiful.
It's great, man.
People realize that Taylor Swift is the biggest musician, the biggest act since Michael Jackson.
They should have some of the local artists come out and sell their wares there and say, hey, you know what? Why don't you give us a little percentage? But you know what? We want the flair. We want the love of the city.
She's taking over the world, baby, and she's coming on back. So we knew that she was the queen of music right now, and people have fallen in love with her, the ones that even said that they hated her. But the thing about this is that she's now going to take over the movie theaters because she announced yesterday that the Eras Tour movie is coming out. I don't know if it's going to be a documentary, part concert, or what.
Maybe it's going to be like that Madonna one from years ago. Remember how it was all behind the scenes stuff?
Yeah, it could be. Where it's a little bit of everything. That's the thing is that, she's going to be coming out October 13th.
Look at what Chris Gonzalez says.
Flicks Brewhouse is going to be showing this. Okay, so you're not going to watch this at Santikos, right? So I'm looking at it right now. Flicks Brewhouse apparently is going to be one of them along with AMC theaters. And in this area right here, there's only 2 AMC theaters. There's River Center Mall.
Yeah.
And there's Bernie.
The one in River Center is real shitty, dude.
It is, dude. That used to be the place,
it's
man.
It's bad, dude.
I remember being in the 90s, being in high school or college, and I'd be like, hey, girl, you want to go out? Because, I had game. And I'd be like, what movie theater do you want to go to? Like, baby, you can choose between Huebner Oaks or River Center Mall. We could do River Center Mall? Yeah. We'll go to River Center Mall. Well, I'll pay for the parking. Actually, you didn't have to pay back then. You just had to get validated, right? And then you go up the big ass escalators. Dude, have game. The game of you want to go to Olive Garden before the movie? Because I got you if you do.
No,
I got you. Dude, I'm telling you, man, I'm 11 pounds from being effing cute again. 11 pounds away.
11 pounds from being effing cute, dude.
And Chris Gonzalez reaching out to us. Actually, I can't even read that. Is a wiki.
Wiki.
Say that Michael Jackson had one called "This Is It."
Yeah.
And do you know who Andrew Schultz is? Do you know who Andrew Schultz is, Joe?
Yeah.
The podcaster, the comedian.
Yeah.
Call if you can call up. Can you call up on TikTok, or do you have TikTok or YouTube?
Let's see. I got YouTube on here.
There's a thing that he posted a couple of days ago about Taylor Swift going to a concert, even though he hates her. And he posted this a couple of days ago. It's a TikTok that he had, and I found it very interesting because I mentioned a couple of months ago, and people thought I was stupid when I was saying that I believe that Taylor Swift rivals Michael Jackson, and they think it's weird because they're like, "Oh, well, no. What about Adele? What about Beyonce? What about Lady Gaga? What about Metallica, Linkin Park?"
Yeah.
All these musicians for the past 25 years. Andrew Schultz is a comedian who cannot stand Taylor Swift. And he released a video talking about the fact that he went out there and saw the concert.
I think this is it.
Let's see if we could play it. This is it.
I've ever seen in my life. Really? The only person you can compare Taylor Swift to is Michael Jackson. Really? There's nobody else. You're doing a disrespect and a disservice to any other artist if you compare Taylor Swift to them. I'm being honest with you. I know there's a lot of guys. You know. Come on, son. You already know. Come on, bro. Come on. Oh, you think you're the only one that can rile? You think you're the only one that can rile? Let me tell you something, okay?
Listen,
Taylor Swift.
I heard it's amazing though.
Oh,
I heard it's like a stage play. I did hear that shit.
It is the most amazing live concert I've ever seen.
Really?
It's not even close. The only person you can
you've
compare
seen Beyonce.
No, son, I've seen Beyonce.
No, you haven't.
Woo!
No, you
I've seen Beyonce. is a generational talent. A talent like Beyonce does not come along. What I'm trying to say is you're doing a disservice to Beyonce to compare her to Taylor Swift. Because Taylor is in another galaxy.
Yeah, all jokes aside.
I mean this, and this is going to hurt feelings.
Up over here. So Andrew Schultz, by the way, his podcast is amazing. The Andrew Schultz podcast, one of my favorite ones out there, because he likes to talk shit. He likes to go after people, but he keeps it real, dude. He kind of reminds me of Howard Stern of the 90s, but he's kind of keeping it real. And screw Joe Rogan, because I don't like Rogan's shit, right?
Nah.
But Andrew Schultz pissed off the people on that show who are like, well, what about Beyonce? What about Beyonce? And he goes after them and says, no, she's on an island on her own doing her thing, whereas Beyonce has always had other people. She's doing features. She's with Jay-Z. She's with this other artist. She's with Destiny's Child. She goes, no, this girl does it by herself. It was so great. But again, what ended up happening was that Taylor Swift is going to have a movie coming out about the Eras Tour October 13th. And The Exorcist was supposed to come out that same day. And The Exorcist, the new movie part of that franchise, has decided to move it back up to October 6th. And the way that they announced it was they tweeted it out that they were changing the date, and they hashtagged it with the title of a Taylor Swift song, Look What You Made Me Do.
No, man. They're getting into it. They're getting into
it. Chris Gonzalez reaches out on YouTube and asks, he says, hey, I know you mentioned Mexico earlier. Did you see this? They built stands outside the stadium for the overflow of fans on both sides of the street.
Damn.
Dude, we're witnessing Michael Jackson, dude. We are witnessing Michael Jackson.
Do you see this?
Tim Gonzalez, good Lord, Mike Jimenez says he's got game. I do.
Look at Mario, man.
I do. And the thing about it is this, is that, when I say I have game,
bro,
is that I have no problem communicating as far as having a conversation, right? I will let it be known that the next date that I want to have is going to be with my wife. Okay. I love my wife and I hope we work things out. Okay. First and foremost. But I've oftentimes joked about the fact that I quote unquote have game because I've never had a hard time finding a date.
Yeah.
A quality date. Never had a hard time. If I wanted to go, I wanted to go, but I don't want to go. I want my wife. And my wife and I are going through stuff right now, and it may or may not work. But I say that I have game. And I say that I'm effing cute because I'm losing weight. And the thing about it is this, is that there's a certain weight that someone is where they know they look better than they did before. It's like that 1 pound difference, right? And I know the stages of my cuteness. Okay, when I hit tier 1, and then tier 2, and then tier 3, dude. Right now, I'm 7 pounds away from having a brand new wardrobe.
Damn.
And then after that, I was looking at a photo of me and my wife. It was at our baby shower 12 years ago. And I know how much I weighed that day. I remember how much I weighed that day. I don't know if I could ever get there, but my goodness, I was looking good. I was looking good. And then, dude, come on, looking good and having great personality.
You know what game. I got to do? I got to give a shout out to one of our viewers here, one of our fans. It's the one and only Stephanie Mejia.
Yeah.
Birthday, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Steph.
Chicana fuerte, That's Fernandez's girl right there. I'm probably going to go and hang out with them for a little bit tomorrow, because they're going to celebrate her birthday. I told them I'd drop in.
They're going to be at the friendly spot.
Yeah, I'm going to go and drop in and have some drinks with them before UFC.
If I'm not in Houston for the UTSA game, I'll go stop by. She's funny, though, man. She gives me so much crap.
She's low-key very funny, dude.
Yeah, she gives me so much crap about, like, some of the things that I post because she's like, why do you say certain things that people are going to rag about you on? First of all,
you got no filter, bro.
I got no filter, but I also got no care. You think that I'm going to care?
That's a good thing. It's like when you can laugh at what other people are saying about you and you can laugh at yourself, it's a good time, man.
I'm just trying to, and it's funny because someone posted, I think it was, I don't know if it was you or Jeff that posted, Michael was just feeling good about himself and he got dragged. And it's so funny because I'll take a nap and then I'll get back on Twitter and I'll see 40 mentions And I'm like, what the hell happened here? and in that nap time, somebody photoshopped me into something.
No, dude, that's hilarious, man. Usually it's going to be what's his name, Bear County Social Apparel. Yesterday I went ahead and said something to the effect that puro pinche Marbach mop, and I had put the picture of you that I made with you, the Marbach mop.
Dude, I was so mad the other day when that one guy got arrested for robbing all those people.
Oh,
and he had the Edgar.
The Marbach.
Yeah.
No quemas, cuz.
Oh my goodness. You should just get arrested for that. John C. reaches out to us on YouTube and says, that's why you're the A1 show in San Antonio. You pull back the curtain, let your listeners into your life, personal and business. Hope everything works itself out. I hope so too, John. John seems a great guy, by the way. I hope it works out. I love my wife more than anything in the world. But sometimes you can't control things.
Yeah, you can't make people change the way they feel.
Right.
You know?
And I have a lot to blame, dude.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. A lot of it was me, because the personality of being on radio changes you, or being on a podcast changes you. It does. And, there's certain things to like about it and certain things not to like about it.
Yeah. You know what? We're going to talk about this too, since we're kind of talking about subjects. Let's go ahead and get on this. Today is Spurs Day on NBA TV, man. So if you're looking at a day to go ahead and call in, today would be the day, because they got 30 teams, 30 days. And right now, today is going to be Spurs Day. These are all Eastern time. So they're going to have the Hardwood Classic game, which is going to be the 05 Western Conference Championship game. Between the the Suns and the Spurs. That happened at 8 a.m. At 12 o'clock, they're going to have the Spurs and Suns 08 Western Conference.
Oh, is that when Ori hip-checked Steve Nash into the table? Oh, I know exactly where I was. I was at Carnival in Helotes watching on a big screen that they had they had a big old projector out there.
Yeah.
And I was so pissed that we were at Carnival. I love Carnival.
Yeah.
But I was so pissed because the Spurs were playing. And then when I saw that projector, I was watching it. And I remember watching Ori do that. And I thought to myself, I'm so glad that he is on our team. Can I talk about Robert Ori for a second?
Yeah,
or
go ahead,
wrap this up, by the way, and we'll get into Robert Ori.
So you have the other games it's going to be the 2014 champions revealed special at 2. Victor Wembanyama, Team Ignite versus the Boljean Levelazos or whatever at 5. Then you have another Victor Wembanyama game at Spurs Summer League versus the Charlotte Hornets. And then the last one of the day is going to be the Spurs Summer League versus Portland. That ends the day at 10:30 p.m. I think these are all Eastern times, so it's 9:30 p.m. our time. But either way, great slate of games available for Spurs fans.
Very cool. Very cool. Look up something for me real fast.
Yeah.
Robert Ori, Michael Cooper.
Okay.
There's an interview that he did. And while you're looking that up, let's send some love to Cynthia J. Sanchez from J. Parr Real Estate, because Cynthia J. Sanchez is the resident real estate agent here for the Alamo City Podcast Network. You can reach out to her at 210-273-0748 if you're trying to buy a primary residence, you're trying to sell a home, buy a rental property, buy an Airbnb type of place. You can reach out to Cynthia J. Sanchez at 210-273-0748. She's been in business for 16 years. She knows what she's talking about when it comes to real estate, so much so that if you go to realtor.com and check out her reviews, you're going to see 5 stars across the board about how punctual she is, how responsive she is, and how she helps people through the whole process. She's not trying to sell you a home. She's trying to sell you the right home at the right price, and she has a network of people who will go out and get you the loan that you need. And right now you might be thinking to yourself, hey, I was watching the news. They have the highest interest rates right now in over 20 years. She knows some builders right now doing new builds that are offering interest rates in the 4% range. 4% range for a new build. And again, we're seeing property values go down a little bit right now because of the high interest rates. Have it go down a little bit, get it at a 4% rate. Not as good as it was back in the day when it was 2.5, right? But 4 is still very, very, very good. And again, this is a rate that they might get you locked into for a few years or so. But the fact of the matter is that at least gets you into the home, and we can wait for these interest rates to come down. Cynthia J. Sanchez can tell you which neighborhoods this can happen at, which builders are doing the internal financing of homes. J. Parr Real Estate, 273-0748, but not just J Parr. You want Cynthia J. Sanchez at J Parr Real Estate, 210-273-0748. And if you buy a home from her that is pre-owned, she's offering the ability to buy you a home warranty valued at $600 in case the AC goes out, the washer, the dryer, the refrigerator. Again, Cynthia J. Sanchez, J Parr Real Estate, 210-273-0748. My name is Mike Jimenez with Joe Garcia here at the Alamo City Podcast Network.
You were telling me to look up Rob Worry and who else?
And Michael Cooper.
Michael Cooper.
Yeah, so it's interesting because I'm a personal believer that Robert Horry needs to have his jersey retired here at the Frost Bank Center. And the Spurs have Tim, Tony, and Manu. They have Gervin, right? But then they have some supporting cast. I mean, I know Sean Elliott was an all-star, but they have Avery Johnson. You've got Bruce Bowen, Johnny Moore, James Silas. You know, the Spurs have some numbers up there up at the rafters. And I've always said this about Robert Horry. One of the greatest things that he's ever done was back in 2005 when he led the Spurs to that title. That 2005 title happened because of Robert Horry. And I'm not being facetious. I'm not joking around. I think that right there deserves to have his jersey up there. And I know that he considers himself a Houston Rocket. I know he considers himself a Laker. But that title was because of what he did in game 6 and 7.
Yeah.
He carried this team to that title. And that honor also needs to be bestowed upon Kawhi Leonard at some point also, because that dude was the finals MVP. And we don't have 2014 without him.
Yeah, Robert Horry. I saw this video of Robert Horry, and he's saying that Michael Cooper's jersey should be retired before LeBron's.
Yeah, so the thing about that is that there was a story that came out about a week ago that talked about the fact that the head brass of the LA Lakers is saying that they're going to retire LeBron James's jersey. And LeBron James has won one title there in LA, and it was in the bubble.
Yeah.
Okay. He's also led them to bad seasons as well, but for some reason, it's because he's a superstar. They're going to want to have LeBron James's jersey up there. And the thing about it is that Michael Cooper is somebody who has not had his jersey retired. And
that's the excerpt right there.
Robert Horry just went off on this earlier this week, was talking about the fact, saying, why are we doing this? Why are the Lakers going to elevate LeBron James when Michael Cooper is the one who was part of the championship run? You know, the championship runs of the 80s, right? Played so many years, was a defensive player of the year, made so many defensive player of the defensive first teams out there. He guarded the best player, Larry Bird, for many years. When you asked Larry Bird, who was the hardest person that you were defended by, he would always say Michael Cooper. And was going off, and this was the Showtime Lakers, right? We think of the Showtime Lakers of you had Magic, right? I mean, obviously he was the ringleader.
Kareem.
You had Kareem. You had James Worthy. You had Byron Scott.
Yeah.
Kurt Rambis. But Michael Cooper was the one that would go in there and lock down your best player.
He was their Bruce Bowen.
He was their Bruce Bowen.
Yeah, that lockdown defender. Yeah.
He was. And Robert Horry bringing this up saying, why?
And he says here, he goes, I base everything off Michael Cooper. You know, it's just hard for me when you retire a guy's number and you don't retire Michael Cooper's number. And it is just, to me, I don't, he goes, it don't, nobody should go before him. You know, 2-time defensive player of the year, helped win championships. He always guarded the people that Magic Johnson couldn't.
That
you know,
that's the thing right there, is that this was a role player.
Yeah.
But this wasn't just a role player, 2-time defensive player of the year. And there's certain players out there that just don't get the love. And Michael Cooper brought more to the Lakers than LeBron James did, but he doesn't have LeBron James's name.
LeBron James helped them win one chip. Michael Cooper helped them win multiple chips. And then, you know, Robert Horry goes on to say, it's just so many things, you know, that goes to show you have people in the league and NBA and across, they don't appreciate defense unless you're Ben Wallace or Dennis Rodman. And I just think that if you retire LeBron's jersey, you got to retire Michael Cooper's, because he's just a Laker legend to me. That's Robert Horry's.
That's a very good point, man. I'm glad that when I saw that TikTok of Robert Horry in that podcast talking about this,
yeah.
I was very, very proud, a lot of Spurs fans have indifferent feelings towards Robert Horry because Robert Horry will oftentimes say that he believes that Hakeem Olajuwon was a better big than both Tim and Dave.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Hakeem Olajuwon is a top 15, top 20 player of all time. That's not an insult. What's an insult is when they're saying, Anthony Davis is as good as Tim Duncan. That's an insult.
Yeah.
Hakeem Olajuwon is an all-time great.
Yeah.
Okay. He's picking an all-time great over another all-time great. That's not insulting. Okay. Robert Horry may not want to go into Robert Horry may not consider himself a Spur, might not consider himself. He considers himself more of a Laker and as a Rocket, but he had some glory with the Spurs too. And I think the Spurs should honor him for that. I really do. That's that one supporting cast character of a championship run that needs to be up there on the rafters.
Yeah. One other thing that we're going to talk about right now, since we're talking about stuff like this, is the Spurs. Look, Eastern Michigan went ahead and immortalized the great George Gervin, the Iceman.
Yeah.
And there's a arena named after him that's on the campus, and in front of this arena here now stands the George Gervin statue,
the finger roll,
emblazoned in bronze there, doing the infamous finger roll, and you can see that here. I mean, that's amazing. This is long overdue. I think the Spurs should do the same thing. And look this is history in the making because he's still alive at this time. You still have your legends, your greats that are still alive. They're able to go ahead and talk to the crowd and say what this means to them as an athlete,
mm-hmm.
and their legacy that they're leaving behind, because now this is a lasting memorial that others can go ahead and come and see and say, I remember him. This is a great George Gervin, and the Spurs don't have that. You look at the AT&T Center, and while they have memorabilia inside that remembers the greatness of the team, why aren't you going ahead and doing something for your greats, your legends?
Yeah, I was in LA, and outside the Lakers arena, you see some statues out there as well. I don't see the Spurs doing a statue. I would like to see it.
Yeah.
And if you have to ask the question, which is the Spur that deserves to have a statue first, I would argue that that's David Robinson. David Robinson saved the Spurs. Without David Robinson, the Spurs do not exist in San Antonio. They would have gone off someplace else. They'd be playing in Nashville right now. They would have gone to Seattle, right? I'm looking at David Robinson, and if the Spurs were to ever give that honor, it would be to him. Now, I know there's some religious overtones sometimes about idols and things like that, and people may not want to have a statue made of him. But if there was a Spurs statue, I would want it to be of David Robinson.
You could have a statue of David in a moment where it meant something to him, where he's doing something with the community.
It could be.
That would be like, hey, not only was he a great basketball player, but he was a great ambassador for what he did for the city, and revitalizing the community and giving, his self and his likeness and his money to put back into the city,
It's amazing when you go back in time and you think about all the great Spurs and all the runs that we had as fans of this team. I had a conversation, I think it was over at Matt Pecker the other day, talking about how the Spurs won 5 titles, and we are blessed because they won 5 titles in 15 years, but how close we could have had 9.
Yeah.
We could have had 9. Where is Tim Duncan in the pantheon of players of all time if he's walking around with 9 rings? It was so close. 0.4, Derek Fisher.
Yeah.
Ray Allen's shot in Game 6 in the 2013 finals. Manu hacking Nowitzki in the Western Conference Finals. Duncan getting hurt one year.
Yeah.
Having plantar fasciitis. It's amazing that the run the Spurs had.
Yeah. Hey, as we're bringing the show to a close here, we got to go ahead and talk about what happened. Wait, what happened with Mike at Channel 41? That's what Tim Gonzalez wants to know.
Oh my God, I forgot we were going to talk about that.
You need to tell us, man.
Okay,
because we're getting up against it.
So I used to be a TV news reporter, and I used to do documentaries for a nonprofit, and oftentimes it was about celebrities and things like that. And they asked me to do a documentary on Jorge Ramos, which is like the big anchor for Univision. He's like their Peter Jennings or their Dan Rather. He's their Wolf Blitzer. He's been around forever, right? And he says, yes, I'd be more than happy. He's going to accept this award. And before the award, they would want to run like a 2 or 3 minute long, 4 minute long video about his life and all that stuff. This was probably in about 2003, 2004. And so about 20 years ago, they sent me to Miami. I was getting paid to go party in Miami, right?
Oh, nice.
And I go there, and they sent me to the Univision studios so that we could set up and do this video, these interviews with people. And I walked in, and I had never seen so many attractive Latinas in one place at one time.
You were like a kid in a candy store. Head was on a swivel.
Okay, first of all, if I'm not mistaken, Sábado Gigante was being filmed that day.
Oh, man.
Okay. And I'm walking in, dude, it didn't matter what position somebody was doing. If they were if they were talent on air, if they were a producer, if they were a receptionist, dude, the janitorial staff at Univision were a bunch of 10s. They just, and I'm not joking. The people coming around, wheeling around the basura around the place. But these nuggets, dude. These absolute Argentinian, Colombian, Venezuelan, Mexican, Cuban, Puerto Rican, Dominican nuggets.
You had gold all around you.
Dude, it, like, the 400th hottest woman in the building was a 10.
Oh, my God.
Dude, Univision in Miami is just obscene.
Bro.
The talent in that place.
Mario Cavazos.
They figured out you were a coconut. Yeah, okay. But if I was to do a Better Off Dead reference here, they would have figured out that I would have been able to have spoken the international language of love. Sábado Gigante is the shit, says Mario Cavazos. Dude, Sábado Gigante, I have no idea what's going on. Dude, do you remember on Saturday mornings about 25 years ago, Red McCombs, the dealership on I-10 in Callahan, would have the girls from All Stars across the street modeling for a 1 hour sale.
Yeah.
And it would come out on channel 41 or channel 8.
Weird offbeat channel.
Dude, I remember watching it one day, and I mentioned it when I was working at Case at the time, and Greg Simmons was like, dude, you're kidding me. And I'm like, no. The effing strippers from All Stars would walk across the street, or they'd do that on a Saturday morning and then be done at noon and then go across the street back to All Stars. Dude, Red McCombs was necio, dude. That dealership, complete necio, man.
I remember even seeing Vanessa Macias back in the day. She used to sell cars on the weekends.
Yeah, but she did
Channel 41.
She was more classy. She was classier, though.
Yeah,
man. We're not going to talk about TD's wife that way.
No, she was classy. Yeah, no, I remember seeing her though on the TV too, because she would do the same thing. But the one that was necio was Red McCombs, no doubt.
Oh, complete necio. Vanessa Macias is Macias Duncan. Is great. I've met her a few times. She's always been super nice. She's great. Chris Gonzalez reaching out and saying Mike was mopping the floor with his tongue since it was on drooling. Man. Dude, I'll never forget walking into Univision. I'll never forget walking in and walking through the hallways, into the boardrooms, into the studios, and I'm just there going, dude, every person in here, not every guy,
10,
every woman in there, absolute nugget, dude. Absolute nugget. And Miami's that town, man, because Miami's not part of the United States. Just call it what it is, dude. It's not part of the United States. It is Venezuela. It is Cuba. It is Colombia. It is Mexico. It's all sorts of things. It ain't American.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Billy Bob. Joe Gonzalez just out and says, 10. She's a 10. Billy Bob. What was the name of that teacher on Varsity Blues?
Oh God.
He's like, Miss Davis. Miss Davis, you got a problem with me?
Hey man, real quick too, as we're gonna have to go ahead and shut everything down now. But I wanted to talk to you about this real fast. The Alamo Dome. they're going to be doing some upgrades here. I saw this on Twitter off of Meep Nation. So the Alamo Dome is just went ahead and got approval for $29 million in upgrades, which will include 18 additional club level suites, improved sound systems, upgraded concession areas, and more. The city is still pumping money into the Alamo Dome, and they're pumping in a lot of money into the Alamo Dome. But you can make the inside look as pretty as you want. The outside is ugly as fuck. Bro.
Yeah, I mean, I know the outside's ugly, and it gets ranked as one of the ugliest buildings in the country.
It's hideous, man.
Do you know what this reminds me of? And I know UTSA fans are going to get pissed off about this because Meep Nation, love you guys, go UTSA this weekend. It reminds me of like when I hear $25 million. Do you know what this tells me? This is like putting $5 in the gas tank and going 2 or 3 more years and putting $5 more of gas in, because it's not a huge, massive renovation. A massive renovation of the Alamo Dome will probably cost $200 or $300 million.
Basically,
to make it
bulldoze the whole damn thing and build something better.
Well, the concourse sucks, dude.
It does.
The concourse sucks. It has
aging.
No personality at all.
It's just all concrete, dude. Cinder block concrete.
Yeah, I mean, it was built.
And you got that ugly ass glass all over the place that's reminiscent of the 80s. You know, I'm just like,
here's the thing about the Alamo Dome exterior. It's so ugly that when it's lit properly, it's actually effing cute.
At the right angle with the moon and Jupiter and everything aligned in the right
I'll give you an
place.
example. Where my office is for finance, I'm in the pyramid building on San Pedro and 410, the one that's the
Stays
pyramid
lit up all night.
But look how pretty it is.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It needs to be lit up that way. I think they just need to have a little bit of a light show on there, something going on with that. But the Alamo Dome, I'd rather have the Alamo Dome than what was there before, because if you see the photos of what was there before, railroad tracks, cattle shit, I mean, it was just no. Okay.
Fred Villarreal, he says the improvements at the Alamo Dome are part of the agreement. The NCAA basketball Final Four, they had that in order to host the 2025 Final Four here.
We still get stuff there, baby, because you know what? 68,000 seats.
Yeah.
68,000 seats. But man, this has been a fun show. Go UTSA football this weekend. 2-point favorites against the Houston Cougars. That's tomorrow in Houston.
Go Roadrunners.
Again, the Cougars are going to be there wearing Houston Oilers inspired jerseys. UTSA, again, favored by 2 points. This weekend, also Sunday night, LSU taking on Florida State. It's a battle of two top 8 teams. That's going to be in Tallahassee, which got ravaged the other day by that hurricane that hit Florida. So that's going to be Sunday night. Hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. It's Labor Day weekend. Everyone's going to be chilling out on Monday. If you can hit the roads, hit the beach. This is the end of summer, if you will. Yeah. Labor Day is the unofficial part.
Can't be wearing white no more after Memorial.
Yeah, unless you're Diddy.
Yeah,
unless you're Diddy. Apologies again for my horrible college football talk at the beginning. I will refresh my screen next time before coming on in.
Jeez.
Again, follow Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5. They do a fantastic job over there. He does a fantastic job over there. But again, everyone have a safe weekend out there. Stay hydrated. If you go into if you're going to go to the tailgate and I'm there, flag me down. Flag me down. I will take a shot.
Yeah, take a picture and make sure you put the hashtag effing cute.
I haven't had a drop of alcohol in 28 days. 28 days.
My boy's thirsty.
Some would say in more ways than one. I love my wife. Hey, you know what? Send us prayers. Send us prayers. I'm willing to accept them. Thank you so much for that. But everyone have a fantastic weekend. Asking the show, will there be a show on Monday?
Of course.
With, Tim Gonzalez?
I don't know. I got to think about that. It depends if I'm off or not, because if I have to work, I think they want us to go in early. So I got to clarify that.
Paul Cantu saying he enjoyed the show. Very, very nice. And also, don't forget, Sunday, Fantasy Gods with Brandon Medina.
Yeah.
Does an amazing job, along with Rudy Campos Jr., do an amazing job with that. Thank you again to Mudslingers. Thank you again to Bear County Social Apparel. And thank you again to all of our sponsors over there when it comes to Mad Pecker Brewery for when it comes to the Fantasy Gods as well. But this has been a fun time. Thank you for letting me grace this studio again one more time.
Of course.
Everyone have a safe weekend. My name is Mike Jimenez. That's Joe Garcia. Have a happy Labor Day weekend.
We'll see you guys. Peace.